Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Courtney, and I am a future student advisor here at TRU. And I am joined by Sarah from our Student Awards and Financial Aid team. We'll give this a few seconds for our participants to join us. Today's session is Application 101, Scholarships and Awards. So it is usually our best attended info session that we host. Getting those scholarships and awards can be really helpful when you're starting post-secondary. Right, I see those numbers going up. So for those who've just joined, my name is Courtney Charlton. I'm a future student advisor here at TRU. I work with prospective students and usually the first point of contact, and consider myself a campus generalist. So in our team, we know a little bit about everything. And if we don't know, we do know where to find the answers. So when students come to us and they are asking about things like scholarships and awards, we know the basic stuff, and then we can transfer you on to the experts. So here we are tonight with one of those experts, who is Sarah, and Sarah is from our Student Awards and Financial Aid team. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will get started. So before we begin, I want to acknowledge that TRU is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Tk'emlúps-te-Secwépemc. And I know that we all feel honored and grateful that we get to be guests on this land where we learn and play and discover and explore. And if you have been to the campus, or you can see just how much we are inspired by the Tk'emlúps people. So for those who have not been to Kamloops, who are joining us from outside, we are located in the interior. We have about 100,000 people who live here, but area-wise, we're pretty big. We just sprawl out everywhere. There's over 100 lakes you could go to for a day's road trip. There's two ski hills less than an hour away, two more about a 2 hours drive. So right now the skiing is fantastic, but then in the summertime we get warm, dry heat. So we're known for pretty good weather. We're about 3.5 hours from Vancouver, or a 24-minute flight, or an easy day's road trip to Seattle, Prince George, Calgary. We also have our Williams Lake campus, which is quite a bit smaller, and it's around 3.5 hours northwest of us in Williams Lake. So around 13,000 students study at our Kamloops campus. One of my very favorite things about our campus is that when you are on campus, it feels like you're in nature. You see deer walking around, you're part of a community, but everything you need is in walking distance. So there's 5 grocery stores, there's Walmart, there's shopping, there's restaurants. Everything you need is right around campus. We even have the main recreation facility for all of Kamloops right at our campus. You get to use the Olympic-sized swimming pool for free. We have over 140 programs. We also have our online division, Open Learning. So you can study online, but you can also combine, and so you can take courses on campus and you can take courses online to kind of fit your schedule and fit your life and whatever works best for you. Are moving here to Kamloops. We have 5 different residences. They all vary quite a bit. So if you're interested, check out on the website. There's floor plans, there's tours of each of the residences, and see which one works best for you. If you're a new student and you're applying to TRU by January 31st, so in Education Planner BC, there's a spot that you can check off that you want priority housing. After January 31st, we're going to go through the list of everybody who has checked that off. Make sure you are in fact a new student and then send out that priority registration. So students live both on and off campus, but there are 5 great options right here on campus. And then I'm going to pass it over to Sarah because she is who you are here to listen to and learn from today.
Thank you very much, Courtney. I appreciate the introduction. And yeah, like Courtney said, my name is Sarah Farrow. I work in the Student Awards and Financial Aid Department, currently in the position of Acting Awards Coordinator. Just to give you a little bit of an overview, here in the Student Awards and Financial Aid Department, we help you plan your educational investment. And we do that through merit-based awards, need-based programs, and educate and advise on financial literacy. So it's pretty rewarding to be able to see students like yourselves, starting school, applying for scholarships, being able to read applications and award these types of scholarships, in addition to being able to assist students to remove financial barriers through things like loans and grants with the government and bursaries that we hold here at TRU. And then additionally, our advising can range from anything from helping students learn how to make a basic financial plan to helping to look for the resources that you need, often helping you learn to live on a little bit less. We're available in person on campus at TRU and Kamloops, by phone and by email, or we can even do a Teams video call if that helps. So before we get started into the whole entrance application process, I want to just make a few notations about the difference between a scholarship award and a bursary. Here at TRU, it's important to understand the wording and what it means. Scholarships and awards are about what you have accomplished, either academically or outside the classroom. It has nothing to do with whether you need the money. So just so you know, some external organizations are going to call money scholarships that aren't really scholarships. So maybe just check the details. Here at TRU, a scholarship is basically it's about your grades and demonstrated excellence. An award is very similar in that it's a monetary recognition of, say, extracurricular or meritorious accomplishment. Grades may be a factor, but it's usually based on a competitive assessment. Of the two, scholarships are more prestigious and have a higher standard for both enrollment and marks to earn and maintain it. Bursaries, on the other hand, are solely to help level the playing field and give a financial hand up to those who need it. They may be restricted to certain programs or students from particular regions or a minority group, etc., but they always require demonstrated financial need. And we have we have a financial need assessment that's standardized, that's based very, very closely on what Student Aid BC uses to assess need for their loans and grants. So in this webinar, we're going to be covering a few things: who should apply, when you should apply, how to apply, how to write a strong essay, some do's and don'ts, just a review of what a scholarship winner looks like, and to just cap it off, maybe a little bit of need-based funding towards the end. So who should apply? Basically anyone and everyone. There are a few restrictive stipulations here. So the general requirements, and when we say TRU entrance scholarships and awards, we're referring specifically to undergraduate. So this is a bachelor's degree or a diploma program. It's not for graduate students or professional level studies like law. So this is strictly for undergraduate entrance. So if you're a graduate student or a law student, I apologize, but this is an undergraduate entrance only webinar. So the general requirements: you must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, be admitted to a campus diploma or baccalaureate degree program. So a diploma is a 2-year program generally. You can be admitted because we have an adventure guide certificate. You need to do that first. But that ladders into the diploma. Adventure guide certificate will qualify, but anything else will not. The 1-year engineering transfer program also does not qualify for entrance scholarships and awards. If you've earned some type of credential since high school, but it would not provide you with transfer credit, then you could still qualify for an entrance scholarship. So we have here, have not previously attended TRU, or you've only completed up to 12 transferable university credits at a part-time basis. We do have an award specifically for transferring students, but it's for students, like I mentioned, who have not completed a previous credential. So that's a certificate or a diploma that would allow you to transfer that to TRU. Non-transferable diplomas or programs could be something like a YWAM, Youth with a Mission, or if you're doing some sort of trade program. So we recommend that you review entrance scholarships and awards requirements very thoroughly before starting the application. Everything that we have is on our website, so I would strongly encourage you to go check out tru.ca/awards and then look at the undergraduate awards and entrance scholarships. So when you should apply, right now, entrance scholarships are open. They opened in December 1st. So to be considered for a scholarship, you need to apply before March 1st. And then for our awards, the deadline is a little bit longer to April 1st. It's the same application. Closing deadlines will determine whether you're considered for scholarships and awards or just for awards. So to be considered for both, you need to get your application in by March 1st. To be considered for just application or awards, you would get your application in by April 2nd. You don't need to rush your preparation just to get it in earlier. There's actually no difference in how applications are treated, whether we receive them, back in December or the day of March 1st. But applications that are complete and submitted by the end of the day on March 1st will be considered for both scholarships and awards. Anything after that, from April 2nd or March 2nd to April 1st, will just be considered for awards. We also are asking that you have your reference letter submitted by the same deadline that you want your scholarship to be considered for, your scholarship application to be considered for. So how to apply? All scholarships and awards are applied through a single general online application in your MyTRU account. So if you have not yet applied to TRU, you will not have access to this application. Students who have applied to TRU will be able to get access to their application once they receive a student number and instructions from admissions as to how to access your MyTRU account. Once you get in there, you'll be able to get in, and on the next slide, I'll show you exactly where to locate how to access the application. In order for an application to be completed, you need to include an essay unless you're only going to go for grades-based scholarship, which is our president's entrance. Include 2 references. And the next slide will show you where to go. So on the one side, you'll see the MyTRU student portal. If you scroll down under the awards and financial aid heading, the first line says apply for an award. When you click on that, it'll go into a list and it'll show you what's available. And that's what the red arrow is pointing towards. It's going to look exactly like you see it here, 2024-25 academic year. It's going to be called the TRU Undergrad Entrance Scholarship and Awards. That's your application type. Applications are accepted, obviously, like we talked, from December 1st to April 1st, March 1st, if you want to be considered for scholarships. And then that blue button will say apply if this is the first time that you're accessing the application. So your very first time you go in, that blue button is going to say apply. Click on the blue button and it'll take you into the application. You'll know the application has been completed successfully because there'll be a date, as displayed on this slide, when it's completed, of when you finished it. This is also where you can return to if you want to see updates on the status of your application and any notes about received reference letters. So we're asking that students or their referees submit references separately to the email noted on the screen, entrance@tru.ca. We're only asking for 2 references. We're only going to look at 2 references, so please don't send any more than that. We strongly suggest using the fillable PDF form. It's located on our website, again, at tru.ca/entrance. That PDF reference form, you can download it or you can direct your referee to the website and say you can access the form here. We won't be accepting handwritten reference letters. So the form has to be filled out electronically and returned to entrance@tru.ca. We will accept typed reference letters that are not the fillable PDF. So if you have, a principal or a teacher who's gone ahead and typed out a reference letter for you, we will accept that, just not handwritten letters. The reason why we suggest using the PDF is because we ask specifically targeted questions that we're wanting to know about you from your referee. So like I mentioned, all of those reference letters will need to be sent to entrance at tru.ca by the deadline. So on our website, and this is what it looks like on our website, is a list of the entrance scholarships we currently have available. There are 4 different ones, as well as a relocation, we call it a top-up scholarship, which basically means someone who's receiving one of the other scholarships and who's actually relocating to Kamloops for their studies, we'll top them up with a relocation scholarship of about $500. So in this case, all of these scholarships require at least an 80% average in your best 4 grade 11 academic courses, which includes English. So really it's your English grade 11 mark and your top 3 academic grade 11 subjects. So I want to be clear though that your average is only a gatekeeper to qualify you. Our selection is based on your essay and your references. So the only case where marks would come back into play once you've been able to meet that 80% threshold is when we have multiple applicants that are closely ranked. Then we may look back to your average to kind of break a tie, for lack of a better term. So the Grunert, Alvin and Lydia Grunert Entrance Scholarship and Ambassadors, TRU Ambassador Entrance Scholarships, what we consider full degree scholarships. Those will fund you for up to 4 years. Or 5, kind of depending, but they're kind of designed to fund a 4-year degree program, so long as you maintain the enrollment and the academic requirements to have that keep going. And then the other 2 are designed to support you in your first year, so they're broken up between fall and winter semesters. So here we have the entrance awards. So this is what's available, and it only requires a 70% average in all of your grade 11 courses. So rather like scholarships, we're looking just at 80% average in your top 4 academics, including English. Now we've expanded it to look at all of your grade 11 courses and at 70% gatekeeping. In this, you can also transfer credit in, although you, like mentioned, can't have completed any other post-secondary credential that's transferable. You'll see on the list there, we kind of have a new award there at the bottom called the CIBC Entrance Award. This was new last year, and it's awarded to equity deserving students, which may include students who identify as Indigenous, Black, or students living with disabilities who have applied to the specific programs listed below. These entrance awards are designed to support students overcoming barriers and help them access and experience success during their higher education journey. Again, one application gets you in to be considered for all of these things. So if you want to be considered for everything, get your application in by March 1st. If you're only wanting to be considered for awards because maybe you don't quite meet the 80% academic threshold, you can still be considered for these awards as long as you get your application in by April 1st. How to write a strong essay, some do's and don'ts. A lot of our information, as I've mentioned, is on our website. So with your application, your essay should describe and elaborate on areas of past leadership, service, any accomplishments, positions or roles in student government, community, religious organizations, sports, other athletic teams, music, art, clubs and travel. Dance is considered athletic. Where applicable, explain how your development of grit, which is one of our values at TRU, in overcoming obstacles has helped you achieve your goals, and how your interactions with others in these activities are in alignment with TRU's values as listed on the slide. Beginning with our largest scholarships, we're in essence looking for outstanding TRU alumni before they've even started the post-secondary journey. What have you accomplished or been involved with that defines you and gives you a glimpse of who you may become in the future? Detailed essay writing information can be found on the entrance webpage by selecting the gray box, writing your essay. There's a little plus sign and it'll say writing your essay. You click on that, there's a whole bunch of information that's really helpful. So some writing tips, we're looking for both accomplishment and altruism. So how you have benefited your community and served others around you, as well as all of your accomplishments in, being awesome. Describe the nature and impact of each of your involvements. You don't need to explain or define familiar programs like Link or Kiwanis or Daybreak, Rotary, those kinds of things, leadership class, other than just noting that you've been involved in it. Try to stay on topic and build a case for yourself. You don't need to repeat what we've already gathered from your application and transcript. So you don't need to reiterate your grades. You don't necessarily need to talk about the information that you can see is in the application as you're filling it out. Start early, write a couple of practice essays. This will kind of give you a feel for the voice that you want to bring to your essay. Take your time, give yourself the opportunity to develop your idea and edit and cross-check. Have someone else read your work. Ask your parents or your teachers for their opinion, someone that you trust to review your work and give you an honest feedback on that. Essays should be in the range of 1 to 2 pages, 600 to 1200 words. We're asking for you to be concise and clear in what you're explaining, so we don't want you to go over 1200 words. When it comes to references, we suggest requesting a reference letter at least 3 weeks in advance. This gives your referee time to consider and answer thoroughly. It's better to have a strong endorsement from maybe someone who may not know you as much than someone that's kind of mediocre, or a passive endorsement from someone who is of higher standing. So if you haven't had personal interactions with your principal at your school, maybe don't ask them to be your reference, even though it looks really good to have a principal as a reference. If they're not going to be able to provide a deep quality character assessment of you and reference of you, then it's probably better to go with someone who knows you well to give a strong assessment, like a teacher or a coach or something like that. So ask a qualified person, experienced teacher, counselor, supervisor, that kind of thing, who knows you well and is happy to provide you with a strong and thoughtful endorsement. Discuss all the important details with your referee, like the requirements of the scholarship, the themes of your application, that sort of thing. You can maybe even give them a copy of your essay just to know, what you're doing. Send your referee a friendly reminder about the week before your deadline if you haven't heard from them, or if you don't see a note next to your application in your MyTRU account. When we receive your reference letter to entrance@tru.ca, we'll make a note of it. And when you're going into your MyTRU account and you're looking at the status of your application, you will see a note, reference received from, and then the first initial and the last name of the person you've requested to refer you. We recommend sending a thank you note after. It's always nice when someone can speak highly of you and speak on your behalf. So to thank them for that is a nice idea. The next couple slides will just give you an example of who wins a scholarship. What kind of person wins a scholarship? That's a person who is a member of a school club, someone who has helped plan a fundraiser or awareness on a variety of issues in the school or on the overall community. Past winners have also either led youth groups organized by Kiwanis. They've had significant community service, volunteering at things like the hospital and care homes. Past recipients have overcome adversity by training hard to become one of the top soccer players in the league. It could be a dance coach. It could be a lot of different things in your community through athletics. Past recipients have achieved district honors, outstanding student awards. Additionally, we have awards addressed for first people attending in their family. So if you're the first person in your whole family that's ever gone to university, make mention of that in your essay so that we know, because we do have targeted awards for that. Past recipients have been a member, and you can see the progression of their leadership. Then they've led, and then they've maybe trained other people. And so there's a progression of your leadership and your capacity. They've gained confidence as a soccer player first, and then a coach. Again, these are all examples. So if you don't play soccer, that's not a problem. We're just giving you an idea of people in the past. Someone was a soccer player and then a coach. Just to give you an idea, someone who was a past recipient led a waste reduction program in their high school, and they reduced waste by over 50%. This is all information that we've gleaned from their essay and their references. So if you want us to know it, put it in your essay. As ambassadors, so the TRU Ambassador Scholarship, an Ambassador Scholarship recipient will have performed at a level above what we're looking for general awards. For the higher levels, we're looking for greater levels of impact. Did the student just participate, or were they significantly involved and committed? Were they just assisting in leading, or were they fully leading the activity? Or did they even transform an activity in a way that will have a lasting impact after they're gone? Who did you impact? For how long and to what degree? So I'm just going to touch here on some need-based funding, and it's only going to be a couple minutes because the focus is on scholarships. But we also recognize that there are some families that may not have the same level of financing to be able to support students going to school. We have the TRU Assurance Bursary that's relatively new. It's about 3 years old. There's about 25 of them up to $20,000 each. So to be eligible for an assurance bursary, remember keeping in mind bursaries are need-based. You must be primarily admitted to a campus bachelor degree program. You have to enroll in courses on the Kamloops or Williams Lake campus. Courtney had mentioned you could take a combination of on-campus and OL courses. For these situations, you need to seek permission for an OL course. We need to kind of make sure that it's not all OL. It's primarily campus, like we've mentioned here. Applicants must first be approved for government full-time financial aid and other need-based aid. So when you're looking at the TRU assurance bursary, you also need to be applying for government financial aid as well. The bursary will fund remaining need up to the completion of 120 credits. And this is basically if you're starting out fresh, you have not done any school ever at a undergraduate level, then you'll have 120 credits. 120 credits is what a four-year degree, academic degree is generally is. So the assurance bursary will actually give you $500 for every 3 credit course that you take. So in one semester, if you're taking 9 credits, that's $1,500 in that semester to support you with your additional living costs on top of what you're getting from your government financial aid. This is open to new students like yourselves, transferring students who may be coming in from somewhere else and transferring their work into TRU, and anyone who's a current TRU student. So it's kind of an ongoing wide open bursary that has an application year round. The application doesn't open until late April, and you'll only be normally only offered one major scholarship or award. But since this is a bursary based on need, you could retain a scholarship and this bursary. This is a more extensive application than the entrance application that'll ask you about your past and projected income, savings, parental income, but that is by far our largest bursary available. We do have a few other smaller undergraduate entrance bursaries. Again, the application period is from April to May 31st, and the amounts range anywhere from $500 to $4,000 depending on your financial need. New this year is the Kaplash Family Bursary for Nursing. So this is designed to just support first-year nursing students of Indian descent. So if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Indian descent and you're going into the nursing program, this bursary is for you. It is designed to support students in their full 4-year degree. So it's considered renewable, which means you qualify for it in the first year. And if you maintain good academic standing, then you get it again in the second year, third year, and fourth year of the nursing program. With our undergraduate entrance bursaries, these are not automatically open to you, these applications. The assurance bursary is automatic. So that will be in the list that you see when you go into your MyTRU account. However, if you want to be considered for other entrance bursaries that are on this page, you need to send us an email to request that an application be opened for you. That email again is entrance@tru.ca. Our website has all of this information laid out. And so if you have any questions, start there. And any more questions that are unanswered by the website, please feel free to email entrance@tru.ca. So some important things to remember: post-secondary is a financial possibility for every eligible applicant. Everyone's journey is going to be different. Students should book a financial aid appointment if they feel they do not have the funds to attend post-secondary. We here at TRU consider post-secondary funding a partnership between students, so bringing, scholarships and maybe working part-time, parents up until you are 22 or 4 years out of high school, unless you are a single parent or something like that. Your parental income is considered as well in that partnership. Government aid is considered in that partnership as well. And then TRU will come alongside and help supplement that through bursaries and scholarships and the like. Regardless of how you fund your education, we strongly encourage you not to put off investing in planning early. Start now. I just thought that was a cute little illustration of planning ahead. This is our contact page if you want to make note of our phone number, our hours, where we're located in the Kamloops campus in Old Main. Entrance at tru.ca is where you can send questions. That's where all your references need to come to. And while future students can answer many general questions, like Courtney said, about costs and fundings, we're also here to help with further details. If you want to book an appointment to talk with an advisor about how to fund your education, please feel free to reach out. Or if you're on campus, come visit us. We're right across the hall from the cashier's office in the Old Main building, and we're looking forward to meeting you. Courtney, I'll pass it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. You know, I talk about this stuff quite a bit, and I share information with students, and I learned some things from you tonight. So that is fantastic. We have a few questions that we will go over, and feel free in the Q&A to add some more questions, and we can do that before we head into the questions. Just a reminder that you do need to apply to TRU to apply to those entrance scholarships and awards. So you apply online, you use Education Planner BC. The application fee is $32.27. You do need a credit card to apply online. Then you'll be submitting your transcripts. If you are a BC student, you typically use the BC transcripts service. For outside of BC, different provinces have different systems. Alberta has MyPass. I believe Ontario, you go directly to your school district to get your transcripts. So there's a few different ways to do that. But that would be your first step if you have not applied. And then if you do want to know if you have other questions for us in the Future Students Office, we do in-person and virtual info sessions and meetings. We also do campus tours Monday to Friday at 10 and 2. And there will be lots of different sessions coming up. Maybe you've attended some in the past couple of months. There's some program-specific ones as well. Another thing to keep an eye out for, which will be in your email, and we highly recommend checking your emails regularly. That's the main way we communicate when there's sessions like this tonight. That's where we share those sessions. When housing registration opens, we let you know through email. And the event that's coming up over spring break is called Student for a Day. It's an opportunity to come to campus. Oh, I'm in a room where the lights turn off if you're sitting in here for too long. We're all about the environment here. So if you are, you can come to campus, you go to 2 university classes, you go for a campus tour, you meet with our current students, hang out with us, have lunch. It's one of my favorite things that we do. It's an opportunity to kind of see what it's really like to go to post-secondary. Typically, our perception of post-secondary is based on things like social media, movies, what some random person told you once. So to come to campus and actually see can really alleviate a lot of stress there. And I am going to stop my camera for a second, turn the lights back on in this office that I am in. But I'm going to share one question that a couple of people asked, and it was actually interesting because I was uncertain about this one, and I had heard 2 different things. So you did mention it, but we just wanted to kind of clarify that engineering transfer students, those students who are doing the 1-year transfer program, where you could then go to UBC and UVic, that they do not qualify for the entrance scholarships?
Correct. They do not qualify for entrance scholarships on a 1-year engineering transfer. It's a pretty basic answer. Doesn't give you much time to turn the lights on.
I should have asked a longer question during that. They're just questions that we're waiting for a bit longer.
Yeah, it's designed for campus diploma and degree students. So essentially we're wanting students to be here for a little while and you know, get their full education here at TRU, and we're looking to support ambassadors through scholarships in that way.
Wonderful, thank you. So we have a question here. A student is wondering if they are enrolled in their English requirement in their second semester, is that still acceptable? And I believe because they are looking at the English 11 grades. Is that correct? Grade 11 grades are those the important ones?
Yeah, so the most we're gonna look at grade 12 is essentially, if there's a course that you've taken that's a grade 12 course, but you took it in grade 11, then we'll consider it a grade 11 course. So there are a lot of courses that you take in either grade 11 or 12 that are called a grade 12 course. I think I have a whole list here of all of the courses that I have. But we're looking at your grade 11 grades. And the reason why we do this is because when students are applying to TRU, they're most likely partway through a semester of grade 12, or they're just kind of halfway through. They don't have all of their grade 12 courses in. So we don't have grade 12 courses. We found ourselves, when we were looking at grade 12 courses, going to the grade 11 courses anyway. So we've made a change in the last few years in which we look at the grade 11 courses. The grade 11 and 12 courses, I should say, that were taken in the grade 11 year. And we can see on your transcript very clearly what was grade 11 and taken in the grade 11 year, and then what's being taken currently for your grade 12 year. And then we'll assess from there. So if you're a grade 11 student and you did biology 12, English 11, physics 12, then we're going to look at all of those courses as your academic. We're going to look at the top 3 academic courses plus your English 11.
Correct. Next question that relates a bit. Somebody is wondering if English 0600, which is an upgrading course offered through TRU, is considered for these awards.
Yes, English 0600 is a grade 12 equivalent. So if you have upgraded and you have English 0600, I think depends on when you took it. If you took 0600 in grade 11, then yes. If you took 0600 in grade 12, then it doesn't matter, because we're not looking at grade 12 English, we're looking at grade 11 English.
Perfect. And if it was somebody who had, for whatever reason, done the upgrading pathway, then English 0500 would be the grade 11 equivalent.
Grade 11 equivalent, yes.
The next question here, when submitting references, should a title of TRU name with the name of student and student number? Oh, okay. You did answer this. They asked, will there be a notification that the references have been received? And you said, in my TRU, in the award section, once you've received a reference, there will be a note saying reference received by, and then the referee's initials. Is that correct?
So yes, so when students go back into the same place they went to apply for the award, that's where you'll go to see any updates regarding that application. So any decisions we've made on it, and those particular notes. So when we do receive an email with your reference letter, we'll make a note next to that. So when you go look at it, you'll see reference received by first initial, last name of the person who's writing the reference for you. Your referees, the only thing, I have an auto reply on entrance@tru.ca right now. It actually provides a bit of information. So if you email entrance, you'll get an auto reply. In that, the referee who sends a note will say, please accept this auto reply as confirmation that we've received your reference letter. If we have any issues with a reference letter, we can't open the file or content is missing, we'll reach out to whoever sent us the file.
Perfect. Excellent question here. Do references have to be teacher, counselor, principal, vice principal, or can they be other appropriate references? So not family members, but something like a coach.
A coach, absolutely. I would say stay away from like longtime family friend. So, or this was my neighbor and they watched me grow up. I'd say maybe stay away from those and choose referees who are more inclined to know you on the level that you're being in your activity or your community involvement or your commitment to school programs and that kind of thing. So outside of school, outside of that, yes, a coach for sure can be a reference for you as well.
Question here about the trades. So today we're talking about undergraduate. Just wondering if there are some different kinds of scholarships and awards for trades. Sarah, I don't know if you work with trade students. I know a little bit, but I'll pass it to you. And if it's not being put on the spot.
So we don't have an application open for entrance into trades programs, but I do know that trades does have quite a few external funding people that they work with. They would have a comprehensive list, I'm sure, of all of their contacts that they have to kind of get you matched up with what might work. Once you get into a program at trades, however, we do have an annual general application that opens up that's available every year from August 15th to the September 30th. And trade students are encouraged to apply on that because we do have quite a few trades bursaries, which are financial need based, and some awards that we adjudicate for in the fall. And then we have a small pool again that we do in the winter. And then in May, the faculty actually have a whole list of awards. They're called faculty adjudicated awards. And so it's given to the faculty and they get to select students who have performed well in the class based on the criteria of each of those awards as well. And that's done in May every year.
That's fantastic. You know everything. If you are on the trades website, so it's tru.ca/trades, there is some information there on some of those external scholarships that you can apply to right away as well. If you're uncertain, there's definitely funding available in the trades. If you're a woman going into the trades, there's some other sources of funding there. So reach out to one of the contacts on trades, or you can reach out to us and we can set you on the right path there as well. So some questions that are specific. People are wondering if there's scholarships for specific programs like respiratory therapy, that sort of thing. So from my understanding, those typically come later once you're an ongoing student. Is that right?
Yeah, Courtney, that's correct. Most of our entrance scholarships and awards, we try and keep only limited to diploma and degree programs. Bursaries, however, like I explained, the Cat Flash Family Bursary, that's for nursing students. We do have, a very few that are for certain programs. The Community Trust, CIBC, yeah. I think it's at the CIBC scholarship. They are limited to specific programs. That was kind of one of the only ones. We try and keep it broad so that we're bringing in as many students from as many areas as possible and supporting strong alumni.
Wonderful. So I think a clarification about the ongoing scholarships for TRU students. So if a student starts in September, then around December 1st, they could be considered an ongoing student and then apply to those entrance scholarships. Or sorry, not entrance scholarships, the ongoing scholarships and awards. Is that correct?
Yes, so you're considered an entrance student basically if you're coming in before you're going to be coming in sort of like that fall of when the application is open. So you won't be starting until after the application is done. If you start in January, then you'll be available to the ongoing, so the annual general bursary application, an awards application that we have in September and August, that's what you'll apply for. So you're not considered an entrance student if you start in January, just given the timing that we have going on with when entrance applications and adjudication occur versus when our annual general go. One point that I also want to make is that we have an awards guide on our website. So if you go to tru.ca/awards, there's a little yellow button that'll say awards guide. If you click on that, you can actually search the catalog of awards that we have available at TRU, and that'll give you more information based on, is there one for this program? Is there one for that program? And it'll tell you which application it's associated with. So if it's going to be something that's an entrance award or not, you'll be able to find out through there. It's not 100% up to date. So I would use it loosely. If you have any questions, once you've looked at the awards guide or anything, you can still email us as well. And we'll be happy to talk to you about that.
A question about the academic excellence award specifically, just a clarification, is this one an automatic consideration?
Yes, so our one, I think we only have the one, which is the president's entrance, and that is an automatic GPA qualification. So if you don't want to write an essay and you don't want to do the references and you know you have a super strong GPA, then you can just apply through the MyTRU account, do the basic information, don't paste an essay or anything, don't send in references, and you'll just be considered based on your GPA.
And then a couple questions, people who may have missed at the very beginning. If you are here and you are doing a graduate program, a master's program, or you're an international student, there are different pathways for you. So if you're an international student, you can go to TRU World and see what they have there. And there are graduate scholarships and awards for students going into master's programs, law programs, things like that. So you might have been able to get some insight into things here, but in terms of the actual specifics of what those are, you would go to the graduate program or the international website to get that information. These entrance scholarships and awards wouldn't apply.
Correct. Yeah, the entrance scholarships and awards that we're talking about today are for undergraduate only. We do have a web page linked on our tru.ca/awards as well for graduates. And we have some information for international students as well. International students are welcome to apply on our annual general ongoing awards. They'll only be considered for awards or scholarships though, not for need-based awards. But yes, TRU World would be a great place to start for an international student.
Question here, if you're unsure if you will transfer to another university after a year, should you still apply for entrance scholarships?
I would say apply. Always apply. Just take the chance. You never know, because once you get here, you might absolutely love it and not want to ever leave.
Great answer, Sarah. Is there scholarships or awards for volunteering? So I believe you mentioned in some of those, that's really when it comes out in the essay that you write, or in the referees when they're talking about the experience. Does that sound right?
Yeah, in general, we're looking for TRU alumni who have volunteer history, who have community service history, who have history and demonstrated, activity in their school, who are involved in extracurriculars, that kind of a thing. So it's not a specific, this, award was designed for people to support people who have volunteered with the blah, blah, blah. It's more just show us how you have impacted your community through volunteering, through service, that kind of a thing. It's more general.
A question here, I think they are asking when they send, first, actually, I want a clarification before I ask this. Do the reference letters have to be sent directly from the referee? No, the student can send them?
Yes, the student can send them. They can come from either the student or the referee. The biggest stipulation at this point is that it has to be electronic or typed. It cannot be handwritten.
And the question for the student, is there anything specific they need to mention in that email? You won't be considering that email as part of the application criteria, just
yeah, it's basically just, in the subject line, reference letter for this student, please see the attached reference letter. Like it's pretty self-explanatory when we start getting reference letters in, especially if they are the fillable PDFs, because we know exactly who they're going to be for and what it's for, because it says right on the PDF. So if it's not going to be the fillable PDF that's being returned, then yes, please just clarify who the student is. Their student number would be great if you're the student sending it back. My recommendation for any student coming to TRU, any student having correspondence with TRU, always include your student number. It just makes it a lot easier for us to look up your file, to see your application, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're a student sending this information, include your TRU student number as well. That's great. Not your high school pen number. That's irrelevant to me, but your TRU student ID. But if your referee is sending it in, just as long as we know who the student is that this reference letter is for, then we're usually pretty good at sorting that all out on this end.
Excellent. And this is a great one to clarify. to kind of ease some anxiety, do you have to write separate essays for every scholarship you apply to, or just one?
There is only one application, therefore you only need one essay. So one application that you complete puts your name in for all of the scholarships and awards that you may be eligible for. So that's why we've tried to streamline everything. So no, it's only one essay for one application. And you'll be considered for everything in regards to this entrance adjudication period.
There's a question here that I don't know the answer to, and you may not either. So it's just an anonymous question. So if we aren't able to answer this question, you can send in an email and we can try and figure out the answer for this. The question is for students who are starting February in the trades and transitions, which is the dual credit with the school district. Do those students apply now? And if they apply, for what semester would the awards apply?
Well, I'm just trying to think about trades and transitions because it's not considered a diploma or a four-year degree program. So you're not considered an entrance student for this purpose in doing that program.
But you should be able to, if you're still in school, so if you're in grade 12 and you're doing it as the dual credit, it should be through your school's, so SD 73's trades and transitions coordinator, that the funding usually goes through that way rather than through TRU. So connect with your school's trades and transitions coordinator, and that's typically where the funding comes from, I believe.
Yeah, at this point, that's a little bit out of my scope at this point.
That's why I prefaced it with,
yes, I appreciate it.
We may not know this. I think that I have gone through the questions. Some of them I kind of joined because they were similar questions. So hopefully we answered everything today. Again, if you have more questions, something comes up, you need some more help, please feel free to reach out. If you're looking at information on those entrance scholarships, it's entrance@tru.ca. If you would like, or you have questions about general things about TRU, the application process, housing, that sort of thing, you can reach out to the Future Students office, and that's just futurestudents@tru.ca. We also have a live chat, so Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. If you're on the Future Students page, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little circle, there's a chat, there's real people there, it's us, and we can typically get you an answer pretty quickly. Oh, a question just came in for the volunteer aspect of the essay. Is there a time of volunteer history to mention? So I think, does the timeline when you volunteered matter?
Yes, I mean, we understand that COVID may have impacted a lot of people's abilities, a few years ago to be involved in things. We take that into consideration. There's been a couple years now where I think students are we want to see recent volunteering. It's not something, 5 years ago when I was, in grade 7, I did this thing. It's no, last year I put in 200 hours as a candy striper, or I don't think they call them that anymore, but
but we all know what you mean. I don't
yeah. Or I volunteered at a care home for 150 hours, in grade 11, like kind of anything prior to grade 9 or 10 is not as important to us. We want to see active volunteering, active commitments, ongoing commitment, that kind of a thing.
Excellent. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions coming in, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing all of your information. I hope you learned a lot. It's a lot to take in, so please do reach out if you have any questions, and get those essays started.
Thank you so much, Courtney.
Perfect. All right, everyone, have a wonderful evening.